for the 12. He gonna be like, yo, this was such a good interview.
I'm gonna give you free advice.
Alright, so when people talk about hip hop and they talk about hip hop in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times people allude to 1988 because 1988 was a very big year in hip hop. A lot of big albums dropped in hip hop. But the same thing could be said for 1989 because in 1989 you had Self-Destruction came out in 89 and you had 3 Feet High and Rising came out in 89 and then you had Gangstar's first album came out in 89, right? But for me, in 1989, I was 14 years old. I was attending Brooklyn Tech in Fort Greene. And I was a stone cold Brooklyn kid, right? Like doing everything that Brooklyn cats did. Going to Grand Army Plaza, right? Prospect Park, the Wendy's down on Empire, trying to holler at chicks, the whole thing, right? And so in 89, Special Ed came out with I Got It Made. I Got It Made it's a classic, but part of its allure is that it's very simple. It's not a very complex song. It's a very simple song, but it's very poignant. I Got It Made, the video, I remember being a kid watching on Video Music Box, and on my screen pops up this coolie kid in Grand Army Plaza in all the spaces that I frequented, right? Like it's a thing we grew up like if you saw a place that you frequent as a kid, that was a thing, right? It was an attachment, it was a connection. Like, yo, this kid is at Grand Army Plaza, he's in Prospect Park. Starter jackets, cats dancing, flat top, and I Got It Made became the anthem for being a teenager in Brooklyn. Right.
Yeah, I think it was really nationwide, man. You'd be surprised.
Right.
Like even uptown at the Apollo, man. Every little Suzuki that passed by was blasting it with the systems and going skirt. Right. You know, they was going skirt down 125th,
right,
2 inches at a time, and blasting. I Got It Made out of every car. So yeah, it was a wonderful time, man. And I think it was a little different. And the simplicity is probably one of the things that help, because if you really notice, a lot of the biggest songs are real simple.
Yes.
A lot of the biggest hits
are
real simple.
Right.
Musically as well as lyrically.
Right.
So it was just, part of that formula, that winning formula. And sometimes you don't have to try too hard. You just do it naturally.
I just want to set up the intro. So people always say, be wary of meeting your idols, right? I don't necessarily feel that way. In my experience and my journey in hip hop, everybody who kind of has touched me from a hip hop standpoint, we've been able to vibe, without question, right? Because hip hop is a culture. It's different than something that detached. You are a part of it. And so when you meet pieces of it, they too are a part of it. So this brother to the left of me is obviously a part of hip hop, but he's also a part of my experience. I joke with him. We talk about, his price and his value. I try to get him to do, block parties and stuff for me. But at the end of the day, I respect this brother as an icon, as somebody who's a standard in hip hop, and I'm very, very, very happy to have this brother sitting to the left of me so that we could have a conversation with him. I want to introduce to some, and I want to present to others my brother Special Ed.
Peace. How you, Marlon?
I'm good, brother.
All is well, man. So you gotta realize too, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. I grew up on the streets of New York. So when it comes to negotiating, I'm champion of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm champion. I done been down to Delancey. I done been up and down Flatbush. We done shopped a little everywhere, downtown Brooklyn. Right. And you never gonna pay what they say. You got,
you gotta negotiate.
You gotta negotiate.
So
I respect it.
Right.
But at the
end of the day, you from it.
Right.
So I tell the story all the time. You and I have been on the phone for a couple of years where I would call you and I forgot who gave me your number. Maybe Little Sean. Maybe I don't know who gave me your number,
think
right?
Prince.
Maybe Prince, right? Prince gave me your number, right? So I would hit you about different things I'm doing in the community, block parties and whatnot, and you had a rate. And you stood by that rate. And it was like, yo, it became a challenge to me. Like, yo, I'm going to give him his rate, dog. Right? Like, and I finally was able, you know, to get you your rate. And we had a great time. Shout out to Cat Mint Learning Institute. We did an event in October of 23. Was it 23?
I believe so.
Right, October 23.
Yeah, it was a great event, man. It rained, but the lineup was out of here. It was Kerry Hilson,
Remy Ma,
myself. Right. So, you know, we had a great time even in the rain. And it's just a testament to what they do for the community and Cat Mint as a school and academic institution.
Yeah, so I joke with you about the whole thing, but at the end of the day, I believe in paying people what they're worth. Right. You know what I'm saying?
It's all love. Yeah. Because you have to imagine people come at me even now, you know, with the same argument. And I'm like, yo, I just need half a song. I just need 2 songs. Come on, man.
Right.
You ain't got to bring your DJ.
Right.
Shit like that. So I just, you know, I'm used to it. I just know what my response is and what it will be and what it won't be. So, you know, I'm used to that, especially handling my own business. Normally someone has someone that will, you know, they'll delegate the conversations and the negotiations too. But I do it myself, man. You know, I'm used to it. And I also advocate for other artists because I book other artists. So, you know, I got to treat them fairly as well.
And we had a conversation about that. You're right.
Right. Yeah, I know what they want. I got to treat them fairly. And I can't undersell or shortchange them either. I will go to them with an offer if the offer's on the table, but you know, at the end of the day, it's always up to them. And I respect them and what they want, you know what I'm saying, as well, just like I would for myself.
For yourself, right.
Pardon,
yeah, I want to start at the very beginning. Where'd you grow up in Brooklyn?
I grew up on Church Avenue and East 31st Street. There's a 1 block called Fairview, and when you go the other side, it's 31st.
That's right off of like
Martins Church, between Church and Martins.
Right.
Shout out to all the West Indians, Jamaicans, Haitians, Trinidad, Guyana, Barbados, everybody. That's like the Caribbean over there.
Yeah, where your family from?
My family from Jamaica. They're from Kingston, Jamaica.
Okay, all right. So you grew up over there. You have siblings? You have siblings?
Yeah, I got 4 older brothers.
Yeah. So you was the youngest one?
Oh, yeah. It was a wild ride. Just learned a lot from them. And I think it helped in terms of me dealing with people in society, dealing with people in school, and just knowing, you know, what was real and what was not.
Right.
And, you know, how to deal with people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's very hard to intimidate me.
Right.
Having come from 4 older
brothers, right.
All the way up to 10 years older.
Right, because you coming in a gauntlet. Like, that's a gauntlet. Like, you got 4 brothers and you the youngest one.
Right.
Like, that's protective mechanism on 10. Like, because
right.
anything that gonna happen in the street happened to you in the house already.
Exactly. So, you know, that experience prepared me for the world. Whereas I think if I was maybe an only child or the older child, I might have seen things different, dealt with things a little differently or whatever. And I'm fine with it the way everything rolled out though, because I learned a lot early. And it helped me early because I had success early. And if I was out there at 15, 16 years old, as successful as I was, and not on my square, it might have been a different outcome. But, you know, I was well prepared.
What type of child were you? When you're in the house, young, 8, 9, 10 years old, what type of child was that?
Trying to find something to do, whether we trying to, you know, find something to cook, something to mix up, something to blow up, burn, you know, just build, destroy. We just trying to keep busy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But about 9, 10, I was in school already, public school. I was very outspoken, and once again, because of my home life, but, you know, I never succumbed to any of the foolery.
Right.
So I was good. I was the man in school most of all my school life. And, you know, I was very outspoken and everyone knew Eddie. They call me Eddie in school.
What did your parents do for a living?
My parents both worked at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in Manhattan. My mother worked on the floor. She was like directed the nurses to, well, I forgot what they call it, the unit secretary. She did that for a long time, and then she furthered her education while she was working there and moved up. And then my pops worked security over there till he retired. They both retired there.
They both retired. Huh?
Yeah.
So did you used to go back and forth from Jamaica here? Like,
no, not
visit?
as a child, because two things. One thing is we got the opportunity to come into this country. They was leaving something behind. Yeah. So we left that behind. Furthermore, it's expensive. It is. And it was expensive, and it's 5 kids.
Right.
That's so who you bringing
and who you leaving.
Right, and that's a whole thing too. So my father went back and forth quite often. And it was a big thing for us because he always brought stuff back. He brought back either records or foods, different things from Jamaica, and that was big. But when I got older, I was able to take myself. So
So the first time you went to Jamaica, how old was you?
Oh, a baby. The first time.
Oh, okay,
yeah. But I didn't continuously go back
as like an adult. Like.
As an adult, that's a good question. Maybe. I know I had Eddie, so about 20 years ago. No, Eddie 25. He's gonna be 25. So maybe about 20 something years ago. That's the first time I went on my own from childhood.
Let me ask you this, because for me, right? So I grew up in Crown Heights. My family is from like Virginia. Like I'm a Black American, right? But I had my best friend live in my building. His name was Donovan. His father was named Max. Max was a selector. So I would go to Donovan's crib, right? And it was in Donovan's house that I discovered reggae music and rockers and like every artist from like Papa Michigan, Little John, Yellow Man, right? Sister Nancy, Dawn Penn. And I discovered and was educated on the entire scope of what existed with regards to reggae.
Right. And you be talking Jamaican too, don't you?
I'm saying. I've been to Jamaica a lot of times. Right? But so the reason why I bring this up is because to me, reggae music always stood out. To me, it's like the most important genre that no one speaks about. One of the reasons that I feel like it's the most important genre that no one speaks about is because reggae music could be all at once secular and religious at the same time. Like Jamaican artists have an ability to be very religious and spiritual and then be very secular and street. Right? And you've never really seen a Black musical genre that was able to toe the line like that. But also, I feel like reggae music is really the precursor to the hip hop we get in the 80s and 90s, specifically the Brooklyn hip hop. Right? When you talk about I Got It Made, right? When you talk about Soundboy Burial, when you talk about give me a Brooklyn artist, and I'll show you.
Even the Bronx artists, they all imitated and emulated reggae.
Right, even KRS-One, all of them, right?
All of them.
So my question to you is, how important was reggae?
Oh, the most important. That's what I grew up to.
Right.
And that's what led me into hip hop. I was hearing reggae before even hip hop, mixtapes and things of that nature. I was listening to reggae. That's what my family listened to.
Right.
And when hip hop really became more popular and they were actually making mixtapes and those floated around the neighborhood and my older brothers would bring home the mixtapes. I mean, by then I was already listening to dance hall and reggae. And they had, a lot of amusing, thought-provoking lyrics, like you said, religious. They as a culture are very spiritual, like you said, and they will fire bun, you know what I'm saying? Like anything, you know what I'm saying? The most gangsters is praising God, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
it was this like line that the music strutted on, where it was like either or is legitimate, right? And so I want to know, like, your first lyrics, was it like chatting or was it like rhyming? Like, what was your first?
I did a little of everything, to be honest. And on every album, I put a reggae song. That's all reggae, like not a mixture of hip hop and reggae, just a reggae song, just as a, you know, ode to my culture.
Right.
Even though I'm a hip hop artist,
Right.
you know, I let them know that's where I came from. Like, I was the first hip hop artist to do a song with Bounty Killer. You know, I went to Jamaica and King Jammy Studio and did Bounty's first hip hop feature.
Right.
And even Sizzler Kalungi. I don't recall him working with anyone else prior, but we recorded together, and he actually used to come by the crib in Brooklyn and record. We did a lot of songs for him, because when I produce for the artists. I don't try to jump on everything. I don't try to integrate myself into their projects. I let it be them. So, you know, we had a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, I mean, reggae was the biggest probably influence for me. And then, you know, hip hop kind of took it to the next level with the English language version. Yeah.
Now set this up for me. You're at Tilden High School, right?
Well, let me make a correction.
Yeah,
I was at Erasmus Hall.
Oh, you went to Erasmus
High School.
High School.
I went to Erasmus Hall for 3 years.
Right.
And then I got kicked out. And then I went to Tilden
my
last year of school.
Why you got kicked out of E-Hall?
I got arrested and I got a superintendent suspension. But when I got to Tilden, my record was already recorded. And I was getting ready to do the release, finishing up the contract and putting the record out.
How did you get in the game? Tell me that story. Like, how did we get Special Ed?
Yeah, well, Special Ed came from a culmination of many artists that I looked up to in my time, like a Jimmy Spicer, Super Rhymes, Curtis Blow, you know what I'm saying? Artists like that. I started rapping because of them. Melly Mel, Furious 5, Treacherous 3, Fearless 4. And hearing those mixtapes, and then Hitman Howie T, Count Disco, CD3. He had a group, you know, CD3 put out Get Tough. And that was around the same time as The Message. And they were both giving you hard lessons in life and reality of the hood. You know, we know the world is rough, so get tough. So Howie T happened to live across the street from my cousins. So I grew up seeing them, and they used to do a lot of DJing and mixtapes like in the backyard. Literally, you walk down the driveway and the yard's right, and the yard is open, no fence. So
that's traditional Flatbush.
Yeah, so we watched them a lot, and you know, just growing up. You know, when I was a child, you know, when I was too young to cross the street by myself, I would have to hold my cousin's hand to go over there and watch them make mixtapes and perform. And when I saw it, I was like, yo, I love that. You know what I'm saying? And they really got me inspired. And then what really got me inspired is when Howie made a mixtape. He used to make mixtapes all the time, just like everyone else. But one mixtape, he emulated the beat for what song was that? Man, the Bubble Bunch. I think it was the Bubble Bunch. He did the beat over, and I was like, "Oh shit, that sounds just like the Bubble Bunch beat. How he do that?" And that's when I was intrigued with production, because I never really thought of it, but you know, how he made the same beat that they made, and it sounded the same. So I was like, "Wow, how'd he do that?" And that became my introduction to production. So yeah, the Bubble Bunch, and it's so simple.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once
Go back to what
again,
you were saying.
yeah, the simple
Simplicity.
songs, right? And I would also like to say something else, man. It almost bothers me that a lot of people now are getting credit and taking credit for a lot of the work that Howie T put in. You know, shout outs to Hitman Howie T, man. I love you, big bro. But I'm gonna be an advocate, you know, because he made the songs that launched careers. He made the songs that launched other people's careers. When he made Roxanne, it was him and Kango that made the whole beat. Whether Kango brought whatever samples or whatever, him and Howie made that beat. So from that record, Roxanne spawned a bunch of careers. People took credit for making Reply records with the same beat.
The same beat, right.
The same production, which is once again, Hitman Howie T. So I just want to give Howie his props, you know, and let everybody know that Howie is responsible for a lot of careers, whether it be from artists or from producers. Because that was their biggest record, was a spin-off, a reply to Howie's record, which, you know, was the same beat.
Right, but it catapulted careers.
Right, catapulted careers, and he need to get credit for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love all the artists, love all the producers, love all the people that became successful, but they need to give Howie his props.
Right.
Howie was the first super producer that I know of. And you know, they probably had more other producers that were in a lot of projects, maybe in the Bronx, maybe uptown or whatever, but Howie was the mecca for Brooklyn. Yeah.
So you connect with Howie T, and was you already writing rhymes prior to your connection with Howie T?
Absolutely. I was writing rhymes for years. I was writing rhymes since I was in, seriously, junior high.
From junior high school.
Before that, but it was poetry.
Right.
When I was in about maybe third grade, we had a poetry assignment. We learned haikus, haikans, all of that, and syllable structure. And that's what catapulted me into writing rhymes and lyrics. I wrote something for a poetry assignment, and then when the teacher read the homework, you know, she was reading everybody's stuff, and then she read mine, and everybody was laughing. They had a good laugh. And that reaction, I was like, wow, that was simple. I wasn't really even trying to be that funny, but I guess, you know, it worked, and I saw the effect it had. That was like third grade, so I kept on writing.
Yo, and I talk all the time about how small victories are important for children.
That's right.
Because when a child sees they put some work in and they get a small victory from it,
right,
it entices them to delve deeper. And that sounds like exactly what happened with you.
Right. And then in addition, all my friends from the neighborhood and my friends from school that would encourage me and be like, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Yo, kick that rhyme again. One time I had one of my homies from school come and ring my doorbell with a stranger, some kid I didn't even know. And he was like, yo, this my man Ed. Yo, Ed, could you kick that rhyme? Yo, I was telling him about that rhyme you had with such and such where you said blank, blank. And I was like, man, you come into my crib with a stranger so you can hear a rap?
Right.
That's powerful. So things like that let me know that it was okay to do what I was doing.
Right.
And I wasn't playing myself. I wasn't just out there looking stupid, sounding stupid.
Right.
And it's always good, man. Encourage your friends, encourage your peers. If they do something good, if whether it be they artists, or they sing, or they rap, or they dance, or whatever it is they do, let them know when they good. And then, you know, brutal honesty, let them know if they're not
good.
Right. But the truth and just that inspiration is what helps a lot of people break out and become great.
So did you do a demo tape? Like back in the day, we used to do like 4-song demo tape. Did you do like a demo?
I did a demo tape with Howie T.
Right.
what happened was studios were few and hard to come by because the equipment is so expensive, or was.
Right.
At that time, you had to have a studio, a means of recording someone.
Right.
And Howie T was the go-to for recording.
Right.
So that was my reason for going to him. And besides that, he had already recorded and put out records with UTFO, with Lil Sean, with Whistle, with Chubb Rock.
So Lil Sean
Puma.
dropped something before you?
Yeah. I think that was that Heartbreak Hotel? He dropped the record before I came on the scene. I remember that because I knew who he was.
Right, before.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right.
So he worked with a slew of artists already from the area, and was doing outside production work as well. So I said Howie would be the perfect guy to help me break into the industry, because at that time we have 15-year-olds. Action was 16, I was 15. And we went to Howie, and he asked me what I want to rap to. So I told him put on Impeach the President. So even now thinking back, I guess that might have been slightly impressive. A little kid, 15, talking about Impeach the President. I knew what I wanted, and I knew what that was. So, I was digging in the crates. Also, we, one of my brothers and I shared a Fisher-Price phonograph, and my family had a bunch of records. My pops had a bunch of records, and my brothers used to bring records all the time. So that was one of my hobbies when we couldn't be outside, is we be playing records. So all the hip hop records that came out, I had them when they came out, and I was playing them. And I used to get mad because my older brothers would scratch on my Fisher-Price phonograph. Like, we used to call it zooping, right?
Zooping.
They used to be zooping on my shit, and I'm like, yo, y'all gonna mess up my needle, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they thought it was funny, and we used to be like, yo, bro, you can't be treating my shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, but we shared a Fisher-Price phonograph, and I think that really got me more familiar with labels, artists, producers, and things of that nature. So I knew what certain records were. I knew what labels certain artists were on. I knew what the labels looked like, the logos, etc. And then that helped too, because when I was digging in the crates, I knew which records would most likely be funky to get samples from, because I knew the looks of them. Oh yeah, play this. So that was one thing that also helped when digging in the crates. And I went to Howie's crib. I asked my cousin Jennifer to hook me up, take me over to Howie crib, and tell him I want to rap. So I went over there, impeached the president, and I just kept on rapping, rap. I was killing them with just lyrics until they stopped me like, yo, you got it. And then I was like, so what's good? He was like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna produce some stuff for you. So that's all I needed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because for one, you had to find somebody that knew how to make beats. And for two, you had to have somebody that had a recording studio. Now, everyone's laptop is a studio.
Right, anybody could record. You could record on your phone now.
On your phone,
right.
But back then we didn't have that type of technology. So you had to actually have a talented producer with a studio setup. And Howie was that person.
So on your demo tape, was I Got It Made on your demo tape?
Absolutely.
Tell me about how that was made.
It was I Got It Made, Think About It, Taxin', and what else was on there? The Magnificent.
So tell me how I Got It Made got put together. Like, I want to hear both the lyric side, but also the beat.
Well, the lyrics for I Got It Made was a culmination of lyrics that I've been writing. So those lyrics I probably wrote when I was 13, 14, and 15.
So that you had them for a while.
I recorded that song I recorded the whole album at the age of 15. It came out when I was 16. It took me a year to go through the process in court to make the contract legally binding.
Why you had to go to court?
Because I was under 18.
Right.
You can't legally sign any agreement under the age of 18. It won't be binding.
Right.
So you have to go through a court process to make it binding.
Was it like being emancipated?
Well, not from my family, but what they did was they assigned a guardian ad litem, which is a court representative on behalf of the minor.
Right.
And my parents definitely had to be involved. They were involved,
Right.
but the court proceeded and made this contract legally binding, and by court standards, by the law. So that's what we went through, and that alone took a year. So, but yeah, I recorded the whole entire album was done when I was 15. I was just waiting for them to go back and forth to court and do all of that stuff, which was frustrating. And I'm listening to other people put out projects and put out music, and I'm sitting there like, damn, I know my shit will tear this shit up. You know what I mean? You know, just knowing you got some fire and listening to songs coming out, like, damn, I know my shit gonna hit. So it was anticipation. And then at that time I was in Erasmus Hall. And then, like I said, I changed schools, and when I got to Tilden, I already had my profile jacket and everything. Matter of fact, I was in central booking with my profile jacket on. You know what I'm saying? I had my new kicks on, my new everything in central booking, looking crazy. I'm like, bro, I ain't even trying to go down this route.
Right. So what was the deal, without getting into things that specifics you don't want to get into, but tell me the structure of the deal Profile gave you?
Oh, Profile gave me a normal 1980s record deal with 12 points. Yeah, they gave me 12 points, and from that 12 points, I had to pay for everything. So I had to pay for all the promo, all the commercials, all the ads in the magazines, and all the music videos, and whatever costs were associated with my album.
Right. Right.
Whether it be staffing, whatever.
Right.
So that came out of my 12%. So I really, you know, I questioned it then, but that's the industry.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, if that's that's the only love they're gonna give. But when it came down to it, they didn't even want to pay me correctly. You know, it was some ageism going on because they felt I was young, and that they didn't have to give me so much money. And I'm like, yo, bro, it got real in the field. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad things was resolved amicably, and you know, they got a little bit right, but they still been faulty ever since, man. They the worst.
Right.
You know, and Profile Records was the worst. Right. But the best at promotion, the best at marketing. You know, they had Run DMC, they had Dana Dane, Rob Bass, Sweet Tea, Poor Righteous Teachers. So they had a great lineup, and then after me, they also had started signing on the West Coast. They signed DJ Quick. So they had great artists, great success. They just was, you know, cheap paying out the funds. And my thing is, man, you only paying out of a tenth, basically, of what you made.
Right.
So why are you even fucking around? Like, bro, pay people what you owe them and keep pushing.
Right.
You know, you would have got a lot more quality work at that point.
Right. But you 15, you signed it when you were 15 or 16? You signed when you were 16?
I signed it when I was 16, was when we finished everything, all the court proceedings. But I got the deal when I was 15.
So you get a deal, now you know you about to have an album drop.
Right.
You a teenager in Flatbush.
Yeah.
Going to E Hall, left E Hall, went to Tilden. I want to know what that vibe was like when you was in high school, because I can only imagine.
Yeah, well, when I went to Erasmus Hall, it was really dangerous.
Yeah.
It was in the dangerous
Erasmus
time.
Hall, right?
Yeah, in the 80s. This is not the, you know, whatever's going on now.
Right.
This is real times,
This is real.
and real crimes and real shit going on out there. And it was kind of fun at the same time, because it was like a level of anxiety, a level of unpredictability. Right. You know, just anything could happen.
Because you could become a target low key. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But at that point, by the time I started doing, see what I did though, when I got to the school, I made a name for myself so nobody wouldn't fuck around. You know what I'm saying? I came into school and I battled up whoever was the nicest thing in the school. So I was like, yo, who the best MC in the school? Y'all know him. Everybody said the same thing. Prince. All right, where he at? Right. So I went and got Prince and put him on front row and battled him for his name. know what I'm saying? And I won. I took his name when I got into school.
That's old school. People don't even understand that.
So
battling somebody for their name.
Yeah. So I battled him for his name, and I own that name by street law. So they couldn't call him that no more, and I was the man then, and it was known. And when I was out there battling them, like all the thugs, all the crimies, everybody was out there, so they was witness to what happened, and everybody gave me my respect as a LMC, and top notch. You feel me? So I didn't, and plus I live really 3 blocks from school. The reason I ended up in Erasmus is because when you're supposed to pick what school you go to. I missed that day. I was chilling, whatever. So they told
that's
me
your zone.
Yeah, that's my zone school.
school.
So I walked to school. You know what I'm saying? It was 3 blocks, 3 long blocks, but from 31st to Nostrand to Rogers to Bedford.
And
right there. Right. So it was nothing. And I never, and like I said, I have 4 older brothers. So for me, man, I wasn't really trying to play that. If there was times I was holding it down in school, nobody didn't know. I wasn't the braggadocious type. I got this, I got that, woo, woo, woo. But I always held myself down. I had the fly leather shit with the fur collars. You know what I'm saying? I used to have leather pants cut up. You feel me? With jeans underneath. Like I did the ill shit when I was young. Like my fashion game was different. I came to school the first day of school with orange and white K-Swiss. You feel me? That type of shit. So I was a little.
So you had a style about you.
Yeah, I was stylish with I was different on that level. So and I lived 3 blocks down, so I wasn't really, I got to know everybody. That
you was in your hood, which is different than like say you went to E Hall, but you live in Crown Heights. Now you gotta get on the train. Now you dealing with that whole thing, right? Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
So it was for me. I got adjusted real quick, and it became my home as opposed to a scary place. Right. You know what I'm saying? But there was still some shit popping off every day. And I seen a lot happen. We done had riot with the police station, with the police out there stoning cars, flipping on police, all that. They really didn't even respect the police. They only respected detectives. You know what I'm saying?
D's, right.
The D's.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Beat cops didn't get no respect.
None at all. Yeah. But that was them days. The E-Hall was great, you know what I'm saying? And but when the record came out, I was in Tilden. So when everything finally, finalized, I was in Samuel J. Tilden.
So the record come out, the single come out before the album, right? First single, I Got It Made. Yeah. Video drop. Overnight change.
So yeah, it's just something about being on television that freaks people out to where they want to see, they want to know, they want to touch, that type of thing.
That's a star power,
right? Yeah. And for me, I live right on Church Avenue, which is a high traffic area. Right. So it was like not hard to find or see me because I was out there. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I never stopped my lifestyle because of people. Right. You know what I'm saying?
How'd your brothers take to your success?
They helped me out in a lot of the stuff I was doing. I gave them whatever opportunities that I could while I had the opportunities, as well as all my people, my boys. I tried to throw them on songs. I took them on the road. I gave them jobs. You know what I'm saying? I brought a lot of people on the road with me. I gave a lot of people employment and opportunity, and then just to be around me or bring them around the industry was another way that I tried to reciprocate and allow them the opportunity to be in front of people. They was in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I told them, politic, do what you can, network. This is what this is about. Closed mouth don't get fed.
Who was your mentor? Like when you started performing, who did you go to? Like, how did you learn performance and that whole thing?
I just got up there and just spit my shit. Like I just grabbed the mic and had my own energy. I didn't really pattern myself off of anybody.
Where's the first place in Brooklyn you performed?
In Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I don't remember in Brooklyn, but I know I did one of my very first shows was in damn, what's that place? It's still open now. People do shows there now. It's a little spot in I think Lower Manhattan.
We talking like SOBs?
No. It's a spot people doing shows still.
Irving Plaza?
Yes. Irving Plaza.
Yeah.
That was my first real show, was in Irving Plaza. And it was incredible. Like everybody knew the lyrics, and that's when it fucked me up because I was like, damn, this shit real.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists was in there. A lot of entertainers that was out was in there. And, you know, I got the vibe from it. Like, okay,
right,
it's real.
Right.
And we kind of did a little practicing in Howie's basement of what it was gonna be like. But when we got up there, I think I just kind of had my own energy and did what I wanted to do. And then there came a time when I wanted to expand the show. You know, we had to change, get some more dancers. I got Little Sean to come up there and kind of hype man. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like you wanted to do.
Nah, dude, I don't want to do. I do. We did it together in October 23. I was your hype man.
It's already on the record.
It's on the record, kid. I got the tape.
Right.
Where'd you learn? Where'd you meet Sean?
Howie's basement.
Yeah, because Sean is, my guy. Like, I know Sean for years.
Yeah,
like, he's a
Howie's
good guy.
Crib. I met him from Howie T. And actually, funny story is, before I actually met him in Howie's crib, one day, you know, I was in King's Plaza with my girl at the time. You know, she was a little older than me. I was always mature, so yeah. So I'm walking around my girl, and I see this guy with his girl, and we kind of peep each other. He got his little shorty, I got mine. We doing what we doing. So as we walking around, I keep seeing him. And I'm like, all right, we all shopping. It's a small mall. So then we get on the bus to go back to the crib. He on the bus. I'm like, I ignored it. I'm like, whatever. And then later that night, I go to Howie's crib.
He at Howie's crib.
So that's when things clicked for me. I was like, well, those are signs. So, you know, you can't create that. You can't make that up. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, I've seen him enough times that we connected on that kind of level. I mean, we was at the same kind of level when we met each other. Like, you know, he chilling with his girl, I'm with mine. It was a vibe, you know. Sometimes dudes just hang in big groups of dudes and, you know, whatever. But I was more chill. I like to be with my girl or just, you know, chill. And because you always got time to be with the fellas, and they always there. They always outside anyway. And 9 times out of 10, y'all gonna start some shit. Y'all gonna be in trouble. So I always kept it real cool. Like to hang out with the ladies, you know.
Hit up Orange Julius up in the King's Plaza and just vibe, right? Yeah. So now the album drops, and you become this. So America, in a general sense, right? But people have they have a thing for child stars, right? When a young person is able to exhibit talent, that person gets honor, adoration. People are like, yo, like, and we come from the time in the 80s was the era of the child star. Macaulay Culkin, Gary Coleman, Todd Bridges, right? You go on and on. That was the era of the child star. So now you 15, you 16. In a lot of ways, I understand you mature, right? You come from the street, but to the public, Special Ed is like a young hip hop artist, right? You're not like Just Ice, right? You don't look like KRS, right? You actually look like a teen.
Right.
And your appeal is teen.
And I think that was one of the things that was very relatable for, you know, the public in general. Was like, you know, he looked like a kid from around the way. Like, he could be on the next block. And they related to that. I think that what changed for me was when I wasn't having that business, and like I was like, you're not gonna fuck with my money, you're not gonna play with me. All this hee ha ha shit, I'm not with that. I need my bread. So I got more aggressive legally with the company and then the dynamics started to change.
Yeah, because they didn't realize they couldn't take advantage of you.
Right, and then they changed the way they help you or market or promote you. Then the business partnership changes, the relationship changes, and they don't want to do as much for you as they were doing before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of what hurts the career of the artist, but I'm still not going to work in McDonald's for a year and then you don't want to pay me. And I'm like, yo, I came to work, I served the fries, I flipped the burgers, where's my money? And they're looking at you like, well, we'll work it out. No, don't work out shit. I already worked out the numbers. Here they go.
This is what you owe me.
Right, exactly. So, you know, when they found out that I wasn't having it, I think that's when the dynamics change, and you know, the love from the label and the push changed. You know
But at the same time, you were afforded opportunities. Like you were on television, right? You started doing other things,
Right.
rolling in
Well,
hip
I
hop
had to.
space, right?
Yeah, I had to diversify and not just be so focused on Profile Records and do other things, other collaborations. That's when I started producing as well.
So let's talk about that. When you started actually producing, because you have production credits on like real joints that people listen to.
Well, the first thing I did when I got money was buy some equipment so that I could invest in my business and what was going to make me money. So I went out and bought the same equipment Howie T had. He taught me how to use it, and I learned a lot from him just in general. So I began producing, and first I produced my own stuff, and then I started producing for others. And we put up the studio on Utica Ave. We had the Dollar Cab Lab.
Utica and what?
Utica and Avenue M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was down by Kings Plaza.
Right. You been to La Chi yet?
No.
Sting International Piece?
No.
It's on Utica and like K.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta check it out. Good restaurant. Shout out to Sting. I spoke to him yesterday. Yeah, shout out to Sting.
Yeah. And we worked with a lot of people over there. A lot of people came through. You know, when they was in town, they would come pull up, record, chill, just like a, you know, family atmosphere in the hip hop community.
So I wanted to ask you about the business, and I want to get to that, but what I really want to know is the game moves so fast. You had the first album drop. By the time the second album dropped, there was an entire shift in hip hop. Hip hop was different. When the second album dropped, 92?
Nothing was 90.
90.
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
But even still,
90.
in that time frame, things were shifting in hip hop.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like it was moving too fast for you to be on top of it?
No, I don't think it was moving too fast. I just think that the record company wasn't pushing the music enough and making room for, you know, our styles of music. They were just inundating everybody with the same sound.
Right.
And that's where it became an issue. You know, they kind of filled it with negativity, and that could hurt any industry.
Right.
You know, so that's really what it was. Control of the people. They saw how hip hop was influencing people, and had control over people, and they started using more negative messages and negative styles of hip hop to push, you know, to feed the furnace.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but even still, your business acumen was increasing. Like, I get a sense that you was always on your business, and that was kind of the cornerstone of who you were.
Absolutely. You know, I invested into many different things, and some of them were successful. And that's the thing, as an entrepreneur, you have to diversify, and it may be this basket that, you know, elevate.
What's some of the things you invested in?
Man, real estate, equipment, production, the studio itself, you know, just doing different businesses within the music industry, then booking, you know, trying to develop artists, things of that nature. And then further on, later on, you know, I started getting into transportation business, telecom business and different businesses that at the time were doing some things and was moving the needle. So I was like, okay.
Where'd you get that from? Because your contemporaries weren't doing that.
Well, yeah, I never followed them.
Yeah.
I never followed nobody. All my shit was from me, from originality and me observing. I used to always, like, even my real estate, I used to love to read the real estate section because I like the numbers. I want to see how much numbers, how much money they making off these deals. I knew there was 6% commission on the sale of a home or a house, both ways.
Right. The buyer's broker and the seller's broker.
Right. So I was always interested in stuff like that and the price of real estate, you know, just different industries, because I'm trying to figure out where it's at. You know, like even before COVID hit, I was like, okay, transportation, you know, so I was doing some over the road, had drivers and some doing the cargo vans, and, you know, that did well while the music wasn't. While we weren't doing shows.
Like dollar vans, you mean?
Nah, like logistics. Like across the country.
Right, okay, right.
Yeah, shipping.
Shipping, right.
Yeah. So yeah, I was doing that for a while, and until the vans kind of burnt out. They started up high, and then the money got less and less, so I pulled out.
Right.
But when it made sense, it made sense. If something makes sense, I make sense of it.
Right. When did you leave New York City?
I left New York probably when I turned 30, so like 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was turning 30, and I've been through every street, every corner, every traffic light, and I'm like, okay, well, what else can I do in this city? And then I wanted to live a better life as well, you know, for my kids. I wanted to see sunshine. And then what really pissed me off was shoveling the snow. You know, first of all, I'm responsible for somebody busting their ass walking down the block. I ain't like that. And then I had to get out there
and
shovel, toes numb, hands numb.
I know the
I'm like, bro, I'm not doing this shit. Like, get me out of here. There's so many places that I've traveled to, they don't have snow.
Right.
It's always warm. People are nice, you know, atmosphere is nice. So I, you know, I lived in Cali, had a house out there in Burbank. I lived in Coral Springs, had a house out there, and on the Gulf side, had a house out there, and then moved to Charlotte. And I guess I still got a house out there. You know, just move around the country a little, feel it out, and just look for better places for my family. My kids really like Charlotte. You know, they out there. They both in college. You know, my eldest is gonna be 30. She in Florida, so you know she's grown. But the other two, Eddie getting his master's and Brandon's doing his culinary thing right now.
That's
so
dope.
yeah, you know they grown now, so I'm good.
You ever?
I raised them.
Did you love being Special Ed, the rapper?
Yeah, at one point. At one point, I really did, you know, because that's what I wanted.
Right.
And then I really liked being Special Ed, the businessman.
Right.
That
I was going to ask you
more,
that. What you like more?
Yeah, the businessman. I mean, anybody could rap.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
You know, it's a dime a dozen right now. Like, you could record something today and put it out this afternoon. Right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's rapping. But at the time, it was right. And at the time, I loved it. With the evolution of the industry, obviously, I'd rather, you know, do the business I do. And actually, with my organization, I'd rather be out there helping these kids, because otherwise, nobody else is. Nobody's going into the schools. Nobody's going into the hood. Nobody's going into the underserved communities and speaking to these at-risk youth. So that's what I like to do and I prefer to do, because I was an at-risk youth from the hood growing up. And that's what a lot of people don't get. They don't really make that connection, because they's like, oh, he was cute, he had curls. Yeah, but I was right from the middle of it all, going to the worst schools
in
the city,
for
that matter. and you know, dealing with all of that,
Right.
navigating it lovely. So at the end of the day, there's a lot more layers than people really understand. They just know what they saw on television, and you know, I just like to keep that. I just like to keep it cool. That everybody ain't got to know everything, but as long as I know, you know, I know I'm good.
I want to talk about your business stuff now, but I want to get a sense of, because there's been a resurgence over maybe the last 10 years of like artists from the 80s and 90s, a demand, right? A new demand to book these artists and to have these artists perform, right? And I remember being a kid, and my mother and my pops used to like go to the Motown Review pieces, right? And I would see the, you know, the artists that were on Motown at the time. They would go and see them perform. They would go and pay tickets or whatever. And it was only until I got older when I realized that these artists at the time was like the age we are now. Like they weren't old. They weren't old people. Dennis Edwards and them in 89, 90, they was like 45, 50 years old.
Right.
Tell me about your decision, or like, was there a break when you weren't performing and there wasn't a demand? And then tell me about when
I've been performing. I mean, sometimes some seasons there are less shows,
right?
But every year there's
a
shows.
demand,
yeah.
Right.
And I've been doing shows. I've just decided to do the shows that are more worth my time.
Right.
Like you can chase cheese all day, but you know, you want that real money. Like I can go do these little clubs all day. They still call me all the time for these little clubs, and I have to turn them down because after 30 plus years of doing all of that, I don't feel like chasing every little piece of change that they throw in your face. So, you know, maybe when I was younger, I was single, I had more energy and patience for that. But I don't even like sometimes the club scene because of the energy and the vibe that I'm on now. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink, I don't smoke. You know, I ain't into all the heavy fornication and all that. I ain't even, like, I'm not impressed. I've been there and done all of that. So for me, it's I'm on a different vibration right now. So, you know, I just do more festivals, concerts, bigger shows. Things that I do are things that mean something to me and things that I want to do. Like, for instance, Ralph's birthday coming up. You know, that's something that I want to do. And that ain't about $1. That's about what I want to do.
Right, or Hip Hop Closet, July 12th.
Right.
That ain't about $1. That's what I'm saying, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
That's about a lot of dollars.
Right.
So, you know, it's just about doing things that are more meaningful and, you know, not wasting my time.
Right.
That's all.
So let's talk business now, right? So you're a man of a certain age. You've been able to, and like I told you, like I told you, it was like chatter on Twitter that I had to kind of nip in the bud because people would talk about that which they do not know anything about, right?
Right.
You have been able to be successful as an entrepreneur and a business person. Maybe we could say the rap catapulted it, right? Your rap career catapulted your business career.
Absolutely.
But you're not pigeonholed into your rap career. You are far more a businessman and a stakeholder in community than you are a rapper.
Right. And at this point, I'm more reluctant to do things related to rap as I am doing things in my community and for the people and for the children particularly. And my programs range. I do from elementary school all the way up to university.
So let's talk about SEAL, because the people, they need to know what SEAL is.
SEAL is Special Ed Arts and Literacy, and it's a nonprofit organization that I started. And what we do is we empower and we educate through, you know, music and entertainment and the arts, I should say. So we use that as the foundation for our literacy programs. And, you know, I go into school from elementary, junior high, high school to college, university. Like even last week, you know, or 2 weeks ago rather, you know, we did a junior high school, and then I went back in the same night, I did a Zoom with a university class at UCF, University of Central Florida. So it ranges, and the curriculum just depends on the age range.
But what brought you into this space, education?
The fact that there's a lot of misconceptions about hip hop, misconceptions about our community and our culture and our people. And children born, if you're in school now, you was born like 2010 and up. You understand? So I feel like you really don't know the crux of the origins of rap, what it was meant for,
right,
or what was the intent.
Right.
You think the intent was taking drugs, being hypersexual, and being violent.
Consuming, being a ultra consumer.
Ultra consumer, right. And that's not why hip hop was created. That's not what it was for or meant to be. And I feel like I have to go out here and dispel the notions that are, living in these kids right now, because what they see is on social media. They all have devices, they all have phones, and what they're looking at is what they're believing. And if you just let that narrative be, it's going to destroy more and more of our youth, as it has been doing. So I just go out here to reverse the effects of misinformation, and just educate them a little more on the reality about having morals, ethics, and how to stand on that, and how to make the right decisions, and just proving to them that you can have success and still make good decisions, do good things, do things in the right way. So, and I use myself as an example. I started in high school. I started as a child per se. So I didn't have to go those routes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to get into a bunch of trouble, or, get shot up, or get in jail, or die to be famous. You know what I'm saying? I could still have my morals, my beliefs, my ethics, and a good heart, and still be out here, doing the right thing, and still succeed, still make money.
Does this solid disposition come from your parents? Where did this?
Part of that, came from my parents, and just what's right is right.
Right.
I feel like what's right is right. I know what the industry has done to me personally, and I really don't want that for everybody out there. I don't want anyone taken advantage of, abused, and misused for their talent. You know what I'm saying? I want them to know their value, know their worth, and be able to stand on that. Yeah, but my parents are very, very strong and strict morals and values. Excuse me, being of Jamaican descent.
Right.
Different culture, different standards.
They're still alive? Both your
Yeah,
parents
they're still alive. I just saw them 2 days ago.
And your brothers as well?
Yeah, my 4 brothers are all alive. I just left one just now.
How they doing?
He lived downtown Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing good. You know what I'm saying? I don't see all of them all the time like that, but when I'm needed, I'm there.
Right. What do you feel about today's music? And I want to preface that, but what I want to know is what type of father you are, because you got kids now that are the right age for like this new music, right?
Right. Well, my kids gonna listen to whatever they want to, but what they heard from me is all real music, and I don't just play hip hop for my kids. Like when I play music, I'm listening to R&B, I'm listening to reggae, I'm listening to soul music. I don't sit there and play hip hop all day, all night. So
they have a very broad palette.
Correct.
They were born into a broad palette of music, right?
Right. And then they went to diverse schools. So they went to school with different types of children that listen to different types of music as well. So I think they have a wide palette musically, and sometimes I'm shocked at some of the stuff I hear them listening to, because it's like, oh, okay, that's the shit right there. That's my style. That's that's some old school stuff, or just stuff I wouldn't I wouldn't think they'd be listening to, but they really do appreciate music, is what I found. And it's really, you know, they live what they learn. So if you sitting there playing this, chances are that's what they're gonna fall into.
If we bought one of these young rappers, 15, 16-year-old rapper doing drill music, labels are interested in him, he don't know shit from Shinola, right? He don't know what's going on in the game. And you sat with him. What are some of the keys to survival? I won't even say success, because it really is about survival in the music industry. What were some of the things you would tell this young kid in order to survive this game?
Well, make sure that whoever is speaking on your behalf knows what they're talking about. Make sure they know the business, and make sure that they represent you properly. You know, that's one thing. And the second thing is really know how to count. You know what I'm saying? Know how to count correctly, and know where all the streams of revenue come from. Because there's various different, you know, baskets and areas of revenue within this industry. You know what I'm saying? There's many ways to make money from the same music. So they just need to understand that as well.
Just really be on top of your business.
That's right.
And now kids
and understand the business.
Because now they got 360 deals, which is totally different than what you signed. Because now they're signing deals where the labels are getting a piece of everything. Like even your social media imprint, labels are getting a piece of now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's funny. You know, that just goes to show, though, there's less money in record sales, so they have to find other ways to make money.
So I work for a community development organization. The community development organization was founded in part by a woman named Elsie Richardson. And Elsie Richardson was a maven in her community that passed away, and her granddaughter reached out because they were doing a naming ceremony for Elsie Richardson on Prospect and Schenectady. So because I work, you know, in a title for the organization, I was sent to the naming ceremony to speak on behalf of the organization.
Right.
That's where I met Celeste. Celeste is the granddaughter of Elsie Richardson.
That's right.
Celeste is dope. We had a conversation, and she tells me that she works with special ed. So I'm like, listen, that's my guy. Me and him have talked numerous times. He looked out, he did the thing on Quincy, good dude. And she starts telling me about SEAL, the organization, and the work that you guys are doing. She speaks very highly of you and your sense of community. How did that relationship, where's that relationship come from?
Well, that relationship came from another family relationship with the Robinson family. And growing up, we all were very close with the Robinson family, and we spent a lot of time in their home. She was best friends with Rhonda, rest in peace, and I'm friends with the younger boys, 40 and T-Bone. And we all just grew up together by way of the Robinson family. And you know, since then, a lot of the Robinson family has passed away. Rest in peace to Pops, to Moms, to Alice, to Rhonda, and to the grandma. But they were all around in a house full of family and love as we were growing up. They were like a pillar in our community. And, you know, we all just hung out there. It was a safe place that we can all have fun and feel free to be ourselves. So I've known Celeste since I was young, you know, school age, junior high school, that long. And I didn't know she was in education, but she worked with the DOE till she retired. So, you know, when she saw what I was doing with SEAL and the community work and the work in the schools, she offered her expertise and her experience. And I was like, hey, it's a no-brainer for me because we're already familiar with each other. And I feel like she's a great addition to what we are doing.
And shout out to Celeste. Celeste is amazing. She's
to
been
Celeste.
here at Hip Hop Closet. She's always on top in terms of ensuring that, SEAL is able to be present in community. I know you guys just met with Brendan Mims, superintendent of District 16.
Right.
This guy's a friend of mine. He's doing great things in that community. So I look forward to seeing SEAL continue to expand and to grow and develop in this community. I know you're all over the place with it, but specifically as it deals with Central Brooklyn, I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
I want you to talk about your doctorate, because you are now Dr. What are we saying? Dr. Ed, Dr. Special Ed? Like, what are we saying?
Well, they could say whatever. Just make sure
Just
you
make
say
sure the
doctor.
doctor.
Yeah, make sure that's first. But
Right.
yeah, so that's an honor, and once again, it's one of those things where you put in the work. Sometimes it's thankless work, and you don't think that much is going to come from it other than the direct effect that you have on those children, and that's what motivates me, and that's what pushes me to do what I do, and that's been recognized. So that's how I was awarded that prestigious honor, and I just want to thank everyone involved in that as well. And it's just bringing me to a new level so I can do more and help more people.
Yeah, it's really amazing, bro, because you don't see people that come out of hip hop in the 80s like becoming doctorates and things, right? You don't see the switch. Like, it's an anomaly. I'm not saying it doesn't happen,
Right.
but what I'm saying is, hip hop is a culture. Because we come out of it, sometimes for some of us, it becomes our only source of revenue, our only source of sustenance, our only source of creativity or of passion. So for you to be able to transcend that source, move into education, move into entrepreneurship, and keep the same level of intensity and passion, that's what I mean. That's the anomaly, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because we know in sports and entertainment, we are, when I say we, I mean black bodies are the commodity. And so we are in the space to be exploited. You didn't let them exploit you,
Not going to happen.
right? And then not only did you not let them exploit you, but you found a lane to create for yourself to sustain you and your family,
That's right.
right? And, like I told the dude on Twitter, in a lot of ways, bro, you do got it made.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
that was
Absolutely.
prophetic.
And
You got it
really
made.
having knowledge and that type of passion is all you need to have it made, really. And that's what I go and tell these kids, like, you got it made once you believe in yourself.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
you're
key.
motivated to go out there and do better for yourself. That's the key right there.
That's the key. Real quick, Universal Hip Hop Museum Advisory Board,
Yeah.
UK Hip Hop Museum Cultural Ambassador. How did these things come about?
Well, they came to me. They approached me. They see what I do. They see what I do on my own, and they wanted me to be a part of it. And I agreed. Sometimes a lot of the things that we indulge in and we're a part of is simply based on us saying yes. So they approached me, and I said yes, absolutely. And with the UK Hip Hop Museum, I expressed my interest in making sure that I was a part of that, and they obliged and made me a cultural ambassador. I actually went out there to London and met with the founder out there and one of the founders out there, and I'll be going back March. I'm going to London, and just touching hands with the people. Matter of fact, I got to make some calls, maybe do some work while I'm out there in addition. But a part of a lot of things is just saying yes. A lot of people just don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear it. Talk to my manager. And then a lot of times the manager don't really want to, say nothing unless there's some money involved. If it's not a check on the table, they don't know how to navigate it. So, it's just about, discernment and knowing what's real and what's good for you and your career.
That's a question I wanted. What's the furthest your music has taken you? Like the furthest on earth? Like I want to hear about the one country or city that you were in like, you were like, I can't believe these motherfuckers know I got it made.
Well, just overseas period, because you know my records, my career spans from prior to social media, prior to even the internet.
Right.
There wasn't no internet.
Right.
There was hardly cell phones.
Right.
We just barely had the big cell
big
phone.
joints, right.
Right. So just to get out there and be known internationally based on the primitive way of promoting is, you know, it's an honor for me. It's a pleasure. It was much harder than, you know, the means they have today, just posting and being on social media and having those type of followers. We actually had to be in the field, on the ground, in the country, on the radio, something physical. And then once again, to make money from actually selling records, selling CDs, selling cassettes. You know what I'm saying? So that for me says it all. You know, now sales is not really doing it. And I don't really see how streaming is either, but you know, they give the money to who they want to give the money to. Yeah.
This was a very informative conversation. Again, for me, it's like, you know, having an opportunity to know how you move with your business acumen, right? And also, but your morals and foundation, that's not something that you see in our culture. And as we move into a space where we are the elders, we're the ones that kind of are the purveyors of the culture, we need people like you. Because what's happening is we got elders that are teaching young people the wrong things, all the wrong things, because they don't have the right things in mind and in intention. Right. And so, you know, to be able to know you and to be able to know your work, I know that it's of value to the culture, right? And I just really want to always expose and bring forth who you are to our culture.
I appreciate that, and that's really why I'm doing it, man, because I don't see anyone out there really doing it to that extent to where they're having an effect. They're in the communities, they in the hoods. You know, it feels good when I go to the hood and I go in a school and they're like, hey, Mr. Special Ed, and you know, they write me thank you letters, they draw me pictures. I feel like I'm in school again. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm getting all these little notes and it's heartfelt, you know what I mean? It's real genuine. And those things mean the most to me, because that shows me that my efforts are being appreciated, you know, by the very intended people that it's intended for.
Do you have intentions of putting new music out?
I don't know when it start paying me. Like, I've been doing music for so long, and they played around with money so much that I really don't have an interest in putting music out unless there's some money on the table. If there's money on the table, I'm gonna rap my ass off. But until I see it, I don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna, you know, perpetuate any agenda just for a little paper. I'm not going to carry a purse. I'm not going to wear a dress.
No, we're not.
I'm not doing that, right? No heels. No, I'm not doing that.
Not doing nothing.
And I'm not going to kill nobody. I'm not going to hurt nobody. I'm not going to take nobody drugs. I'm not going to tell nobody to take drugs. I'm not doing none of that, because most of the rap that I hear now is either telling you to go harm someone, to use some drugs, or to sexually abuse yourself. And I'm not doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. I'm not competing with that. You know what I'm saying? So when I see it, it's about real money and real morals. I don't mind getting involved, but right now I'm really not interested. I'm interested in redirecting these youth into a positive direction, because what they think of hip hop is exactly what I'm saying. Those areas and those are not winning for anybody. It's almost like you have to be a stripper to rap. You have to have on a thong to be on stage. Like, that in itself is.
But here's the thing, though, Ed. Like, now, I was reading some articles about this. Streamers, right, are actually making more money than rappers. So now the move is not even being a rapper anymore. It's being a streamer and going direct to consumer with content Like that's, and so on the surface that may seem like, oh, well, okay, well, you know, the music is moving into more of a direct to consumer piece, but the streaming now becomes outrageous. It's like, how exploitative can you be on camera to yourself and to others?
Shock value.
The shock value now, right?
Yeah.
And it's just really getting to a point where it's just getting worse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So again, it's important that your voice is in the culture. But more importantly, it's important that y'all know July 12th, Saturday, July 12th, Hip Hop Closet at the Brooklyn Navy Yard Building 77. He's charging us no bread at all to come and perform his entire catalog, at least a 90 minute.
Believe that. Believe that.
So have you like thought about or considered buying back your masters so that you could re-put out the music?
Okay, well, it's a lot deeper than that. For one, I've passed my 35 year mark where there's a thing called copyright reversion, which is a law. So I'm going through that with the record label.
Because after 35 years, it's supposed to be reverted back to you.
Correct.
Right.
And secondly, there was also an issue where I never actually gave up my copyrights. So that's something else that we're dealing with. You know, my younger self obviously was not happy with everything that was presented to me, so I left some stuff blank intentionally. And we're dealing with that now. Because if I did not assign you something, then it's not yours.
Right.
So yeah, so we're dealing with that.
Good business. Good business. Yeah, next time I'm in Jamaica, you come with me, man. I'll show you some things out there, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Boop. Sure thing, buddy.
Okay, so you want him to judge now?
Yeah.
All right, so we do sneaker wars here,
I mean,
right?
but I feel like
She just don't. She knows she gonna lose. That's what that is,
I
right?
already said
You
I
see
wasn't
that?
in it
You
because I
see
forgot
that?
about Sneaker Wars, so I don't have my fresh stuff.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it.
I didn't
either.
even know about Sneaker Wars. It just happens.
Right, but you the judge though.
Okay.
You can't vote for yourself. You got to vote for either me.
Look at his face. He's
Right.
like, "Who said that?"
So you got to vote for me. I got the breads, the patent leather bread, right? Jordan 1s. You got to vote for Jason. He got the bullshit Air Max, right? Or Kaisha. What the Beyonce's? I don't even know what these are.
Disrespectful.
I think it's easy. I think it's
I was
easy.
actually
bro.
going with.
Remember you shitted on me that time and you put them on.
I was going with them.
So who's
Okay,
the winner?
you know what? I'm submitting myself.
Yeah, I'm saying you should. I
Like she
submit
ain't got
you.
20 pair of cakes in the back there that she can.
Right.
I actually don't today.
So who won out the three of us?
Me.
Well, none of y'all got no suede shit. You see?
He's like,
Suede is a whole different level. Suede is a whole different level of print. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like the Puma suede. I'm not mad at those.
Hold
You know
on a
what I'm
second.
saying? You know me?
You know what I mean? Let me see what's the okay.
Correctly.
Okay.
You feel me?
So who you choose?
All right, so you want to put your foot in there, Kai? All right, here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, yeah, we did.
I think it's a no-brainer. Ed. I'm
Facts, it is
wondering
no-brainer.
why you. I mean, for so long, like.
Now I'm just saying I don't know if the Beyonce's is
the
real.
Beyonce.
Nah,
got bootleg joints.
If they real, they hot.
Unreal.
I mean, this is a classic look here, but you know, you don't see the Beyonce's every day.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Beyonce.
Yeah, if she win, I swear to God, I'm quitting sneaker wars.
Listen, let me go over here.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah.
All right,
I mean, you know,
who you choosing?
those is you know,
Beyonce.
Tennessee. They
He said this was Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Never had Air Max.
We're playing horseshoe.
This is to me. This is just what you would expect from a Jordan. This was the original.
It's
Jordan
original,
colors.
right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done that. I've done that. I've been there.
Yeah, I've done it too.
As a
though.
child.
Beyonce.
but I've never seen the Beyonces.
Never seen Beyonce.
I'm quitting this shit. I swear to God, I'm quitting. She be winning because she a girl.
I was
Right.
getting ready to say, I do have an unfair advantage.
And maybe,
Right.
maybe
I
because
could
they
be a little
smaller.
boy.
her foot
Right,
is
right.
skinny.
You know what I'm saying? You
what it
asking
is?
another man, a next man to choose your feet?
I
Like
get
that's
a lot
not.
of little boy shoes too,
Oh.
like young man's and boys. So I have
Look,
like a.
go put it up on the sneaker cam. kid. Get on the sneaker cam.
Thank you
She
very
won.
much.
She won? She
Yeah,
won?
she won.
She
Oh, that's crazy. All right.
She won.
She won.
She won.
Let me
She
pull up
won.
my Kendrick.
Now,
won my
the
Kendrick
reason
song.
why she won though is because they real.
They real.
What you mean? Everybody kicks is real.
Nah, no, but you know that's expected. That's like I mean, here's this Tennessee. They a little bouncy. You know, that's cool.
Bro, you telling me the patent leather breads is expected? When last time you seen a pair of these?
I mean, I ain't really a patent leather guy.
I'll see. This is what I'm saying, B.
I mean, you got to tap dance if you don't.
All right, so once again, I want to thank my brother Ed for coming out, for giving us his wisdom, for sharing with us his journey. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys again on Conversations at Hip Hop Closet. You can find us at YouTube, on the Hip Hop Closet website. We're on the Hip Hop Closet website or Sweet 607? Both. So subscribe to both, Sweet 607 and Hip Hop Closet. The IG is at Hip Hop Closet. We look forward to seeing you and bringing you more wisdom from people who have impacted this hip hop culture. One love.